Hello, hello! What is going on, YouTube friends? We are playing on Shards today. I am your host for this World of Warships Legends video. I am Phoenix61. Make sure to follow the channel. We're doing World of Warships videos pretty much every day, right? So that way you don't miss them, right? We are rocking the Amalfi. I'm sure I gotta be saying that somewhere right? But you guys know me, I'm bad at pronouncing ship names, and I'm sorry for being me. Anyway, so yeah, this ship's pretty fun. I'm kind of bad with it. Like so many things, practice makes you better, right? So we're getting better at it. We're kind of learning a little bit more how to use these the semi-auto piercing rounds. So once you get the upgrades going on this thing, you don't get HE shells anymore. You get these SAP rounds, right? And so you can't, you're not going to do a lot of incapacitations or even triggering fires. Oh man, I wish I had AP loaded for this anchorage though. But it does do really good, like, consistent, chunky damage, right? So we'll use our rolling smoke screen as we take this shot here, because there are two other battleships out there that would just smoke us, right? We're in a cruiser sailing broadside, so we'll take advantage of this nice rolling smoke screen that basically makes you go almost invisible almost right away, right? You got a few seconds to spare, but anyway, you're still vulnerable to, if somebody's close enough, you're still vulnerable to getting picked up when you're firing your guns, but yeah, but everyone's still kind of far out, so we'll take advantage here. I'm thinking, and this is my personal experience thus far with this ship, so I played 3 other games today in this ship, and I lost all 3. And before you say it's my own fault anyway, right? I did well in all 3 games. Like, I legit, not lying, was top of the leaderboard for my team. Like, I was, I had the most XP for my team. And there was one that I feel like I should have saved, because I feel like it was a better game than this one, right? Like, it was a really good game. It had put up some pretty decent damage numbers. I felt like I played my part better in that game than I did this one, but I was just like deleting them out of frustration after losing 3 in a row, right? And then just, yeah, like, so we get a little bit better of I guess, we have our team to thank here too for this one. But anyway, what I was getting at is I feel like I was having more success kind of trying to flank with this ship, right? It's one of its strengths is its speed. So I was going out wide here, right? And then I've built it out for range, so even if I am going out wide, I can, I still have the capacity. I'm not taking myself out of the battle, right? I'm not taking myself out of the fight. You guys know that I say not to do that, right? If don't chase down a ship, or don't go so far away that, like, once you kill that one ship, then you're spending half the game driving back into the battle, right? But so we've got range here, right? So we can, even if we're flanking, even if all these reds died over here, it wouldn't take me that long to get over and help support, get close enough to the B hole here to help support it, right? So, and then we've got decent concealment too. As you can see, we're not getting picked up by these guys just yet. So I'm taking advantage of that and trying to get torpedoes off in their direction before I start unloading with guns, right? And then of course this airplane's going to pick us up if you're paying attention to the mini map. So I'm like, you know what? Let's start shooting our guns anyway, because we're gonna get picked up anyway, right? So we do have a battleship behind us, and I think he's probably been drawing most of the fire thus far for this side of the map, which is fine. But he goes down shortly here, right? So, but that's what I'm trying to say is, like, that's why, like, we kept ourselves hidden. We were trying to work on getting position, right? So we'll send our fighter out. Maybe he can help, maybe, but probably not most of the time, right? But then I wasn't expecting, like, so many people from their team to also be coming out the way to the outside, right? Like, that's kind of rare to see that many ships on this map on that side to go out that wide, right? So yeah, there goes our line, goes down there. And then we're going to use our smoke screen since it's ready again already. So that came back pretty quick because we had fully packed running and we were by our battleship buddy. And then, yeah, somebody hit one of our torpedoes, so that's actually getting us some real damage numbers. But you'll see we're using the SAP rounds most of the time, and it's like, you're not doing, with the SAP, you're not doing crazy awesome Citadel type damage, right? Of course, we're shooting battleships, but still. But you're getting decent chunks with repetition, right? So the consistency is kind of what pays off for us here. And then I'm focusing on keeping this this zone out of their hands, right? So you guys know me, I like to go for the banners or the ribbons, whatever you want to call them. So we're getting plenty of defend ribbons by kind of mixing it up and shooting each one of these ships individually. And then we do get another torpedo hit on the Zeitan, and then of course, yes, we're running into the wall here. And sometimes I use this, this was like convenient for me at this point, but there is a little bit, you can see a lot of bullets missing me right now. So there is some purpose for somebody going and ramming into the edge of the map like this. It makes it, there's a little bit of awkward physics that occur, and so it does make it a little bit more difficult for enemies to hit you. So I'm severely outnumbered over here, so I'm like, you know what, I'm going to abuse the system. And then we switch to AP rounds here. There's this anchorage just straight up broadside to us. So you still want to make sure you're using the, when the opportunity presents itself, I'll still switch to AP. And I'm trying to turn in so that I can get the front turrets off on him as well. And I think he's stopping because he wants to set his smoke screen, right? And then I think he actually saw us fire at him, and so he started moving forward. But we get 2 Citadel procs on him. And then, yeah, he's got his smoke going, right? So, but he gets picked up again because he moved out of it a little. So I was able to get another salvo of AP off on him. And I kind of figured he wouldn't make the same mistake. If I didn't kill him, he wouldn't make that mistake anymore. So we're going to, we switch back to SAP rounds, right? And that he was the one spotting us, too. So now you notice we're not spotted anymore. So I'm going to take advantage of that and get ourselves turned around here. As you can see, the rest of my team's doing really great, right? So I owe it to my team probably for the win on this side. But, we distracted a good amount of ships over here for a good amount of time. And that's kind of the method to my madness most of the time with this game. There's, a lot of times you'll see it play out. If you look at Zone A, my team dominated over there, right? So, what happens is, if you're on the, so I would call that the strong side, and I would call where we are the weak side, right? And then there's some spaghetti jumbling and happening in the middle right now, right? But so when you're on that weak side, I'm a huge advocate for just survive and draw fire and distract the enemy as long as you can, right? Just stay alive. Kite away is kind of my go-to strategy. So that's what we were doing when we were up against the outside of the map there. But so now that we've sunk a lot of, we've wasted a lot of the game time and done quite a good amount of damage as well. We're basically waiting for our team to come over here to help support, right? So, but we're gonna do what we can, right? So, but at this point, you guys know me. This is my play style, right? So when I notice my team is kicking butt, I tend to I like to be a little bit more aggressive, right? I like to make fun moments happen, even if it's me dying, whatever, right? So we'll try and get our sneak shot on this anchorage as he tries to get around the corner there. Was hoping to get the kill on him, but the SAP, they're good, but they're not great, right? It's just dude, it does this awesome chunky amount of damage, and I feel like it's more consistent. If you're oh, I'm getting all these ricochets or bounces or where it just doesn't do a lot, or overpens, whatever. The SAP rounds kind of solve some of those problems, right? But then they come with their own, but whatever, right? We get a torpedo hit on the Vanguard. Oh. But yeah, so, this Vanguard's sailing, appropriately angled to us, right? So we're using the SAP rounds. You can see, yeah, 2,500, and then another 1,700 popped up there, for damage. And then, our battleship smacked him real good, right? So, and then, of course, now he's turning broadside to us, which is probably the smart move. You'd probably rather be broadside to us rather than versus the battleship. So I could have switched to the AP rounds here. But I kind of figured he's so low on health, I get this rear turret around and finish him, right? Yeah, so that worked out for us. And then their carrier is just kind of hanging out there. So you guys, if you don't know, you can autopilot your carrier. And I feel like I run into this so much where people aren't autopiloting their carrier, but you can move it around the map. You go into the map view, you know, you push your select or start button, whatever, go to the map view, and you can hold X on a square, and your carrier will go to that like automatically while you fly the planes around. So you can focus on flying planes. But so yeah, I see a lot of people like run into, you know, tuck themselves in behind islands or end up in the back of the map, and yeah. So we switched to AP. To see what we can do there. We get penetrations, but yeah, like, I mean, like, the AP rounds aren't that great, like, yeah. So I'm like, oh, I might as well have been shooting the SAP against the carrier, but yeah. So we're gonna see if we can't chase down. The other thing too, these ships are got a lot of speed, right? And the this torpedo, I was willing to just like ignore those torpedoes and take them, but that's a, you know, the Soviet carriers are, the torpedoes are like, they're slow, and then also they take a long time to like come up to the surface, right? So I'm hoping for the double strike here, right? So we got torpedoes on the carrier, and then I'm trying to get guns on the anchorage. We'll use the damage con. These are the only 2 ships left, so this is why I'm being like aggressive, right? Because this is more fun for me, all right? So the anchorage fires his guns, which gets him spotted, which allows us to get the double strike there. So that was just a hell of a fun game. Thank you guys so much for watching through. I will go through how we have the commander build set up for this ship, and then I think I'm still missing one more like unlock of like modules or, you know, ship components, whatever you want to call them, right? But that does put us at the top of the leaderboard, 3,200 XP. That's probably one of my better games with this ship. But yeah, like I said, like this is one we don't play very often. So yeah, good times, right? Good times. Yeah, so you can see up in the top left there, I was only there on that screen for a second, but there was still one module locked, right? So I went range and shell grouping for inspirations, and then, you know, here, cruiser main battery range. And then these other ones, like this one has to do with HE shells, so it's kind of silly to pick that one because you don't have HE shells anymore, right? You have the SAP rounds. So we went torpedo detectability range. And then this commander has a specific perk for those SAP rounds, so cruiser main gun SAP shell damage plus 6%, right? So you could go AP if you're a big AP fan, but yeah, that's your other choice. And then yeah, more shell grouping and dispersion. You guys know me, I'm all about range and accuracy. I know a lot of folks like to do you know, reload speed or is a lot of their go-tos. And then yeah, fully packed is kind of a must for me. But I feel like if you're struggling, if you're not going through all your consumables, fully packed just might not make sense, right? But I tend to, like, you know, I focus on survivability for the game, right? So I try to last as long as I can and use as many consumables as I can. So the fully packed just kind of suited my playstyle. So you'll see me using that for cruisers quite a bit, right? But thanks again for watching. That is our video for today with the Amalfi. Please make sure to follow the channel. I'm doing World of Warships videos pretty much every day, guys. So if you're following that way, you won't miss. And if you liked the video, you can push the like button. If not, don't do that, right? And then we'll see you tomorrow.